Hey guys, hey, it's Bri here coming at you guys with another video. Today I want to talk to you guys about what it truly means to be an empath and if you are an empath. So if you're watching this, you are probably an empath. Let me just start with that because you were called here to watch this video at this very moment. So with that said, let's get to talking. So again, like I said, if you're watching this, then you are probably an empath. There are so many different kinds of empaths out there. So there are so many empaths. So you are probably an empath if you are watching this. What is an empath? An empath is somebody who can read energies. They can feel your energies. They can sense, you know, for one thing, I can pick up the biggest BSer in a line of BSers. I can be like, yeah, nope, that's the biggest one. You know, we might have a BSer over here and then all of a sudden, and then I'm like, nope, it's him. He's the biggest BSer in the room. You know, that's one thing. You can always tell if somebody's lying to you. You know, deep down in your gut, you're just, all of a sudden you're like, that person's lying to me. You can feel stuff. You can sense, you know, sometimes you have anxiety and you're sitting here going, where did that anxiety come from? It's not, why do I feel anxious all of a sudden? Well, it's not your anxiety. It's other people's anxieties. So that's different ways of knowing that you're an empath. Now, what do you do when you're an empath? Well, for one thing, if I'm not doing a reading, when I do readings, I like to let my empath gift just kind of, you know, feel that other person's energy, figure out what's going on with them. If they're feeling anxiety, I like to feel anxiety. I allow that energy to come to me so I know how they're feeling. It helps me with my readings so that I can just kind of get a better feeling, get a better reading. I can hear their guides a little bit more. When I keep it closed off, I don't do as good of a reading. My readings are just kind of here and there. Even with my tarot cards, even, you know, just sitting here, you know, talking to somebody, you know, and I can shut myself down. So ways that you can protect yourself as an empath. For one thing, I like to do a prayer. I will pray every single morning. I will say, I call upon my angels and guides of 100% white light to surround me in a ball of white light so that only positive energy may flow through and negative energy stays out. Please allow those who come near me to receive the positive energy also. Please allow this ball of white light to surround me for my entire day. So it is, so it shall be. Thank you. And just like that, I have cleared my energy. Just like that, I have a ball of white light, so only positive energy is coming in and negative energy is staying out. Now, however, sometimes we have situations, and I sometimes have that when I go out also, you know, sometimes we have situations at work or something like that where the negativity is still gonna come at us so much. You know, I've had a boss before where I felt completely and totally creeped out and I'm just sitting here and I couldn't figure out what it was. Well, that's because this boss was having disgusting thoughts about me. I found this out later because, well, it was confirmed because one of my coworkers told me, yeah, he likes to talk dirty about you. And it grossed me out. I'm like, oh, well, that's where that feeling came from. So what would I do? I would mentally zip myself up. So as an extra layer of protection, I would mentally imagine a zipper going all the way from Mother Earth, my toes, all the way to the top, all the way to the crown. From the bottom chakra to the top chakra, you know, from your feet to the top. Well, your bottom chakra is actually right here, but from the roots all the way to the crown chakra, I would imagine myself being zipped up. Sometimes we have to do that. At that point in time, I was not somewhere where I was helping other people. I needed to protect myself. I needed to protect my energy field, and that's okay. You need to protect your own energy field too. And as empaths, we need to take better care of our energy fields. Empaths, we give it away so much. When we hug somebody, we're also making them feel better. You know, there have been times where I've hugged somebody and they automatically have said, oh my gosh, Bri, I feel so much better. Thank you. We didn't even talk. I just feel better. And I'm like, yeah, you're welcome. And then I'm walking away with their negativity. There's a picture I've seen on rolling around the internet before when an empath will hug somebody and it's almost like their vessel is being emptied so your vessel can fill up, so the other person's can fill up. Well, we got to keep ours full also. So how do we keep that balance? How do we keep that going? Well, I always imagine helping somebody and filling up their vessel also but also feeling mine, as in I root myself. So I imagine roots coming in from the bottom of my feet, and that energy field going up all the way through and continuing to fill my vessel as their vessel is also being filled at the same time, and their energy field is getting positivity. I'm still getting positivity. And any of that negativity or anything that needs to leave that person, I'm imagining it going back to Mother Earth and being recycled so that Mother Earth can turn it into something positive. One major thing that empaths need to do is ground themselves. They need to ground themselves. So one major thing that empaths need to do is they need to ground themselves. Grounding can be anything from walking outside and putting your bare feet literally in the ground, walking by some water, touching water, you know, taking a saltwater bath, doing like a pink Himalayan saltwater bath or Epsom salt bath, that kind of stuff. Certain essential oils can help you. There's like an angel one from Young Living. There is some sage ones, you know, stuff like that. Any type of essential oil that you can find will also help you. Crystals of all sorts and sizes. One of my favorite crystals, and what I like to call and what my mentor called, is a best friend. An empath best friend is kyanite. So this is my grounding crystal. And you see this? Nobody is allowed to touch this crystal. Here's the funny story about this crystal. I had gone to one of those holistic fairs and I wasn't going to get anything. Like I was like, I don't need any crystals. I actually was in the market of looking for a certain type of crystal, which I didn't end up finding. And this guy right here was sitting at one of the tables, and the guy said, "You're the one." And I sat here and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Well, I wasn't gonna bring that crystal, but that crystal kept telling me, you need to take me with you. You need to take me with you." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" Well, he pulls out of his little case this crystal, and all of a sudden I'm like, that crystal is so cool. Why do I like want it? Why am I drawn to it? Why do I want to hold on to it? Well, he said it's because it was asking for you. It's been asking for you all day long. It's been asking where you are. It's getting impatient. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, that's me. I'm impatient. I'm super impatient kind of person. When I want something, I want it now, you know, but that's just how we are as humans. So this guy right here, nobody is allowed to touch. Let me tell you a couple of tips though with kyanite. Never get it wet. Never get your kyanite wet. And it's very important that you charge your kyanite on a full moon. It's very important that you keep charging it. Sometimes I have to charge mine a couple of times, and I can Reiki charge it, or Reiki, however you want to pronounce it, or with the full moon. Every full moon I do charge it under the full moon, and sometimes I have to Reiki charge my crystal, or I might need to sage or, you know, cleanse it sometimes. One of the things you can do when you come home is you can hold your kyanite and you can just let it all go into your kyanite. It's very important for empaths to ground themselves every single night when they come home, every single night before you go to bed, because I will tell you what, one thing that I can do is I can astral project. I will astral project somewhere where I don't want to go. Because I am an empath and I did not ground myself, sometimes I will astral project myself somewhere where I'm like, oh, where the heck am I? This is scary. So make sure you're letting that all go. Make sure, and you can release it into your crystal. You can hold it into your crystal and just instantly, I mean, when you're an empath and you hold one of these, trust me, you're gonna know. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh, this is an empath's best friend. It definitely is. And this crystal I actually got before I knew I was an empath. Before I realized what was going on was because I am an empath. So like I said, empath's best friends. And this can be anybody's best friend. If you need a good crystal for grounding yourself, even if you're not an empath, maybe you're watching this and you're just like, I don't understand what's going on right now. You know, maybe it is that you aren't an empath. A lot of people are empaths though. There are a lot of empaths out there. It is very true. This is still a very good crystal though for any grounding exercise, anything that you need. I mean, I have friends that are empaths that have this crystal and they love it. You know, but again, don't let anybody touch your crystal. This is your crystal. Don't let anybody touch it. I kid you not, do not let them touch that crystal. This is the one crystal in my house that nobody is allowed to touch. there's one other crystal, and they're not allowed to touch that either, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. So another thing that you might know that you're an empath is maybe you go out into public, or you're going to a bar or somewhere where there's a lot of people and you always feel anxiety around there. Again, this is a perfect time to call in protection. You can always call on your guides and your angels for protection. You can always call on your ancestors, on anybody, on Mother Earth for some extra protection. If you feel like you need protection, you can call upon it. It doesn't have to be in the morning when you're sitting there after meditation and you're praying about your ball of white light forming around you, or you're imagining a zipper before you go into work, or whatever it is. It can be anytime during the day. Sometimes I would need to, you know, when I was a CNA, I would need to do it before I went into the nursing home, and then maybe I would go out with a friend after that, you know, after work or something like that, and we'd go into the bar. Well, I would need to call upon extra protection then. It's okay. We need to do it. Sometimes we just need to call on that extra protection. So another good crystal to have is tiger's eye. I don't know much about tiger's eye. I will ask my mentor so I can put some descriptions down below for you guys on it. With that said, you know, remember, if you're an empath, it's highly important to protect your energy. It really and truly is. But here's the other thing. Being an empath is both a blessing and a curse. It can be a curse only when you are not taking care of yourself, only when you're not protecting your own energy fields, only when you're not working. And yes, when you first get going, when you first realize that you're an empath, it takes a lot of work to get that under control, to figure out how to have your gifts and to turn it on and off, so it's not always in the way, you know, so it's not always making your life kind of difficult. Maybe your anxiety or depression is from the empath because you're feeling other people's anxiety and depression. I soon found out that I wasn't really depressed. I was just an empath. You know, I thought for so long that I was depressed. It was just because I was an empath. I was feeling somebody else's depression. You know, I found out that my anxiety was coming from my empathic side. My empathic side at one point was clear up here. It was so strong and it was taking over. And I had to learn how to use my gift to help me and to help others. So yes, at first, using your tools, using your spiritual tools can be hard because you have to remind yourself to do it every day. I put it in my phone as a reminder. Use your spiritual tools. For a long time, and even sometimes now I forget and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Oh my gosh, I forgot to use my spiritual tools this morning. I forgot to protect myself this morning, you know. But like I said, during readings, I allow myself to feel other people's energy so that I can help them. But I also do it in a way that I am filling up my vessel and their vessel at the same time. You can do that also. Eventually what'll happen is you don't even notice you're doing it. You're just automatically doing it. You're just automatically using your spiritual tools. You're just automatically protecting yourself. You're automatically helping somebody and you don't even realize you're doing it. And it's awesome, it really is. And that's where the blessing comes in. Once you learn about your empathic side and once you learn what type, again, there are different types of being an empath. I don't know all the types off the top of my head. I would love to do another video. I am studying more on the different types of being an empath, but yes, there are different types, and you know what? Being an empath is amazing. Once you know it, once you can use your gifts to help others, being an empath is absolutely amazing. I love being an empath. I love telling people I'm an empath. I love it. You know, if you think about one of my favorite characters off of when I watched Charmed in the 90s, I'm a 90s kid. I love 90s shows. But one of my favorite TV shows, one of my favorite characters was Phoebe. Well, Phoebe was an empath. There was a point in Phoebe's life where she didn't have her empathic gifts under control, where they were controlling her. And she eventually learned how to use her empathic gifts to help others, to help her sisters, to help herself. But again, there was a time in her life where it was completely and totally taking over her entire life and it was controlling her. So you just have to figure that out. You just have to figure out, you know, it's kind of the yin and the yang. You just got to figure out how to fold yourself so that it works for you and it also works for others. So you're also helping others, but you're also helping yourself. So with that said, my empathic friends, I hope that this helped. I would love to do a series on this, or even talking to you guys more about crystals. I hope that this helped you guys. I hope that you guys used your gifts to help others. And I hope you understand that, you know what, it's okay to take some time to yourself also. One of the biggest things that empaths need to do is to take time for themselves. We really and truly need a me day. And I take that every Sunday is a me day. I have my salt bath, I have, you know, I do a facial, I just take care of myself, and that is something that every empath, and everybody really, but it is highly important for empaths to do, because we take on so much during the week and we might carry a huge burden and we need to let it go. You know, I spend most of the morning grounding, and then I go in, you know, meditate, I cleanse, you know, all of that fun jazz. But again, my empathic friends, I hope that this video helps you. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you use your own gifts to help others, because they are wonderful and beautiful. So with that said, I love you guys. Bye.